Hello everyone and welcome back to part 8 in this series on how to draw a dog in coloured pencils. Today we're going to draw the neck and see how far we get with that. So everything's listed down below, and if you haven't joined us for the other tutorials, I'll also list part 1 to 7 down below as well. So let's get started. The first colour that I'm going to use, as usual if you have been drawing along with me, is ivory as a base. So I will just start adding that in on this little section. Hope that everyone's well. If you're in England and the lockdown restrictions have been lifted, I hope you've been enjoying seeing friends and family. I've been out for lots of walks since the restrictions have been lifted. It's been really nice. Just going to rub out the pencil lines a little bit. I've been absolutely loving seeing everyone's drawings of this made from this tutorial. I've had quite a few sent to me on Instagram, and it's just so nice to see that the tutorials are actually helping you to achieve the same sort of quality drawing. It's really nice to see, and it keeps me motivated to keep making these videos. Right. Then I'm going to use burnt ochre. You might be able to hear next door's dog barking. I'll just sharpen it. So I'm going to use burnt ochre, and I'm just going to start bringing these little bits down. Just really light pencil strokes. It's a lovely day today. It's a Friday and the sun is shining. Just what we need when lockdown's been eased a little bit. Just gonna add a bit more ivory here. Just do some little flicks of fur. Like that. And I'm just gonna really lightly add some little flicks of fur with the burnt ochre here. Sort of like goes in a bit of a diagonal there. Gosh, it stinks outside today. I think there must be muck spreading. It's all coming through my window. Then, if you can see on the picture, there's like a little line there. So I'm just gonna really faintly start adding that in. Might actually just add a bit of a guide. I can't believe we're going to be coming to the end of this series soon. I feel like I've been doing it for a while though. Just been trying to film whenever I get a chance during the week. Right, and then I'm just going to add that little bit of colour in that you can see. So I'm going to use cold grey too, and I'm just going to add a base layer. Really like simple, just there, like that. So like blending it out as if I'm using fur strokes, just so then it blends into the fur nicely and it doesn't look a bit random. Then I'm going to use cold grey V, which I want to say is 5, but I'm not sure. And I'm just going to darken that up on the outside edge on the left and then blend it in. Like that. Then I'm going to use burnt ochre and just sort of add some fur strokes like that, just to make it look a bit more like the fur's sitting on top of it. I'm just going to add a bit more of a bright yellow in here. I'm going to use Dark Naples ochre and just see how that looks. Just because you can see a bit of a brighter yellow showing through there. That's better. And a bit here as well. I think once I've pretty much like finished the whole drawing, I'll end up going back over it just to refine it. There we go. Just going to blend it down a bit. Right. Then I'm going to use ivory. Oh, pencil sharpener. I'm going to use ivory and I'm just going to rub those pencil lines out. And I'm just going to bring it over. That'll do for now. And then I'm going to use burnt ochre again. Just carry on bringing this bit down. then bringing it up the other side, following that direction, sort of like upwards angle. Then I'm going to use Nougat. There's the name. Nougat. And I'm just going to darken this up a little bit. Making sure to keep that whisker white or lighter, drawing around it. Just going to bring a few flicks down. Like that. Probably going to go over this with some burnt sienna in a bit. But this just blends it together nicely. Draw around that whisker. Add a bit more burnt ochre. Sometimes when I draw fur, I do kind of like a, don't know how to describe it, like I step it down a bit, like 1, 2, then 2, then that makes sense. You know, so they don't look too uniform. Just gonna blend that down a bit more. And then I'm going to bring ivory down a bit so I can just finish this bottom bit. So I'm going to use burnt ochre just on this bit. gonna darken this up a bit. Right. Then I'm going to use that dark Naples ochre again, just to add some more of a bright yellow tone. I might end up adding this in a few places on the rest of the portrait actually. Sometimes it's not till you get to the end that you sort of think of other shades that you could add. Just going to start doing some little triangular shaped hairs. Those that are like one there, just to define this section. Right, we're going to use burnt umber, not burnt sienna, to darken this section up. So I'm going to just start with going on the left side of that whisker, and then on the right side. I'm just going to gradually deepen that darker area. There we go, I think that's looking good. And I'm just going to use that nougat to blend it out a bit. Like that. I've got like a little darker hair there. It's like, go. Sometimes that just happens, like these little darker bits of pencil that just randomly appear. There we go. Right, just going to add a bit more burnt ochre around here. Just add a bit more texture. A bit too dark, that bit. Right, then I'm going to start on this section. So I'm going to just extend that ivory. Ugh, that really went through me. Oh, I don't know why it's going through me. I think it's because it's too sharp. Oof, that made me proper cringe. And yeah, and bring it down a bit more here. And I'll meet it in the middle here, might as well. Right, so I'm just going to start bringing the burnt ochre down here to connect these two bits up. Then I'm going to bring it around here. And down there slightly. Then I'm going to use that dark Naples ochre. Just add a bit more here. Add a bit there. And a bit here as well. Then I'm just going to start bringing this burnt ochre down here. Oh, honestly, it absolutely reeks out there today. Then I'm going to use a bit of this dark Naples ochre and just add a little bit in over the top of this burnt ochre section, just to brighten it up a bit. Adds a nice tone. I'll probably end up putting this all over the whole portrait now. That's a good thing with drawing though, you can literally do whatever you want as you go along. If you see an extra colour that you didn't see before, then you can easily add it in, or you can slightly change the colours or whatever you want really. And a bit here. Okay, that'll do for now. I want to do this bit here, so I'll extend it with the ivory. I'm gonna rub out them pencil lines and extend it. So now I'm going to do burnt ochre, and I'm just firstly going to finish this edge. I'm going to darken this bit as well while I'm thinking on. Yeah. Right, then bringing it down. I'd love to know if you prefer like a really relaxing, like quiet tutorial where I only explain the important things, or if you'd rather it be a bit more chatty. It's harder when it's chatty because I have to think of stuff to say, but then I'm also like, is it really boring if I just don't talk? But then I like watching videos where people draw and not talk, so yeah, let me know. going to use some nougat just to start to darken this bit up. Can add a few little strokes to blend it out. I'm going to use a bit of burnt sienna actually for this bit. I'm actually just going to add a tiny bit here now. Right. Then just going to use that brown ochre 10% from Luminance and start adding some more stroke details in. Just to bring it all together. It's very, very faint texture, you can see. I'm just going to add a bit on this side as well. Right, that'll do for now. And I'm just going to use some nougat here. I just want to darken this bit up now. and I'm going to use burn umber, deepen it up a little bit more. Okay, that'll do for now. And I'm just going to use some of that dark Naples ochre. Just I want to blend it out a bit more. It's better, much better. And a bit more on this side. And a bit more around here. And I'm going to add a bit to blend this bit. Right, this bit needs some more blending. I'm going to carry on with that brown ochre 10%, just to blend it out a little bit more. Blend it together, rather. And then I'm just going to add a bit more burnt ochre. Sounded really daunting then. A bit more burnt ochre to the right side of this section. Right, and then I'm just going to do this section and then sort of like blend the whole thing a bit more probably. I'm just going to rub these pencil lines out. And making sure to leave the collar, because we're going to do that in a second as well. So like colouring around it. like that. Then actually I am going to do the collar first, just because I like to have the sections like proper defined. So I'm going to use dark sepia just to start defining that collar. Just some really light little flicks. Just so we can get that hair texture, so you can tell that the fur is sitting over the collar. Just sort of define that edge. Just feathering it out, pretty much. As the colour is kind of like mostly one colour, it isn't too bad to go straight on with the dark sepia here. Usually I'd put like a base coat down, but it's not too bad with this one. So I just love hairs crossing all over. Looks a bit weird at this stage, but I promise it'll come together. Right. Then I'm just going to use brown ochre 10% and just start adding a bit more colour to the ends of those bits of fur. So that we can gradually sort of create that fur over the collar effect. Be careful not to try and colour over the dark sepia too much, because it might smudge a little bit. Fudgy. Just sort of adding this to the whole section now, pretty much. Then I'm going to use burnt ochre and just go on top of everything that we've just done. I'll do a few in different directions here. Sorry, I'm just adding a bit more of that dark Naples ochre in my own world then. Hopefully you could see anyway. Then I'm going to use some of that burnt sienna just to add some more of a red tone around here. I'm just going to go back onto that collar again. Just going to start defining those little bits in between the fur a bit more. I'm just going to use actually a bit of warm grey too, just all over. Just so there's a bit of a base. And don't be afraid to go in like different directions with your little hairs. Just going to add a bit of nougat here where the colour's a little bit lighter. And then I'm going to use some nougat actually to just start blending these bits of fur out even more. Like that. And then I'm going to use some burnt ochre, oh, wrong way around, and I just want to blend this together a little bit. I'm just gonna take a bit of that yellow off. I've added a bit too much there. It's a bit better. Just gonna bring it down a little bit more. Just gonna connect those bits up. I'm actually going to add a bit more to this bit. I'm going to use a bit of that dark Naples ochre just to add a little bit of colour. Right, and then I think finish this bit on the collar. So I'm just going to use nougat to blend these hairs a bit. And I'm just going to draw around this little bit where I haven't drawn it before, because there is like a little bit on the ring that you can't see on my line drawing. Then I'm just going to use that warm grey too again to colour in the collar. Then dark sepia, wherever I've put that, there it is. And I'm just going to do the exact same that we did here and just darken it up. Then I'm going to use nougat. Just go over that a little bit. And then blend the dark sepia into it. This collar isn't detailed at all, really, compared to some that you get. The worst is when they've got like patterns and stuff on and it's like, it takes like a full day just to draw the collar. Right, I think I'm just gonna take a bit of colour off the centre of this section. Now that I'm looking at it, it's a bit too dark. Just blend that bit out. And I'm just gonna define these little bits in between again. I think I could do with a tiny bit more detail. Like that. Oh, I'm slipping. Right, looking better. Then just gonna do this little metal ring. Going to use warm grey 1 as a base coat. I'll just rub the pencil lines out. Use that. Just a little bit there. I don't know if you can hear the ducks outside now. And it's sort of like a bit darker there underneath. And like so. So just colouring in where you can see the darker bits and then leaving the rest white so it's nice and shiny looking when we're finished. Then I'm just going to use cold grey B, wherever I put it there, cold grey V, and I'm just going to add that to this little bit that you can see underneath. Because it is a bit more cold there, cold grey. Like that, and a bit here as well. Then, because this photo was taken outside, you can see like a green reflection on the ring, so I'm going to add that in. I'm going to use where's it gone? There it is. Olive green yellowish, really lightly, just over the centre. Of that ring. Just to add the tiniest bit of green. Then I'm going to use dark sepia, just it's like a darker outline there. It honestly looks more complicated than it really is. I'm just going to do the other side as well. Then I think I'm just going to blend it together a bit with the luminance white, just so it looks a bit less, looks a bit more blended. And then just going to use that olive green yellowish again and just add a darker bit here. Sort of like starting in the middle and then blending out to the right. And then I'm just want you to be able to see the edge there. So I'm just going to use burnt ochre just to outline it. Then you know where it stops. Then I'm just going to use a bit of nougat. Just define these little hairs a bit more. I'm going to do these ones a bit more too. and these bits. There's all sorts of noises going on out there. Right, I think we're not too far off there. Just going to blend this bit up a little bit. Maybe a bit more burnt ochre. A bit more here. A bit more here. This bit just annoying me a bit. Alright, I'm just going to try and blend that out a bit more. Hopefully yours looks a bit more blended than mine. I'm going to use a bit more brown ochre. I'm going to use a bit more burnt sienna. That's it. Do a few strokes. Here. Then a few strokes here. It is a bit more red there actually. That's better. And then I'm blending it together with burnt ochre. That's better. A bit more burnt sienna down here. Right, I think we'll leave it at that for today. And then once we've finished the whole thing, I'll go back over all the sections that need a bit more reworking. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I will get on with filming the next one as soon as I get a chance. Thank you for watching.